Mr. Smith, welcome to Providence.
Here we go. Hey, how's it going?
Nice
Good
to see you
again.
And see you've done this before.
Oh,
Come
yeah.
step over, take a look at all the voters who are out there who
Hello,
are
voters.
waiting.
Tuesday, August 22nd. Remember that.
Vote early and often.
Yes, that's
if
what
you're
they
in
say.
Senate, if you're in Senate District
Yes.
13.
Even if you have to wake from the dead, just make sure you vote.
Well, we had you in when you kicked off the campaign, and we talked about your platform. It's been several weeks since that. I mean, several weeks now.
Yeah.
But it's coming down to the wire.
Yeah.
You've been, how many times have you been knocking on doors? Have you gone multiple times on doors?
Yes, and sometimes people are like, leave my door alone. But you have our vote. We promise. Just go away. But you know, it's been exciting. I have been knocking on doors. When I get done from work, I do 4 to 6 each day, and then weekends. And we have a great crew of young volunteers, whether they're young Republicans or just college students. And there's actually a dedicated group of seniors out there that are doing honking waves and everything. So it's pretty exciting.
So talk with us. I mean, you're the GOP candidate, the front-runner Democratic Progressive Don. You are on the Democratic side. Talk with us about the differentiation, and I want to ask you a specific question. The Rhode Island Center for Freedom and Prosperity, or the Gatsby Project, if you will, within the last couple weeks came out with a report about progressive spending in the state. Yeah. And they had raised the issue, as this being an issue in this particular campaign. How concerned are you about the price tag attached to certain pieces of legislation, a lot of pieces of legislation? They quantified, they said if the progressive agenda had been approved, it would just add millions more to the budget. So how big is that when you talk to folks about what's going on at the Assembly?
It's pretty big. I mean, a lot of it's just common sense. I'm a small business owner. I have kids in the public school system, and a lot of people just feel like right now our state, we have a we have a $9.2 billion budget. States that are much larger and have the same population like New Hampshire are able to operate on a $4 billion budget. So there's obviously a spending problem in our state, and now we're accumulating that with a $120 million deficit. I think it's time to rein in spending and operate things the same way we'd operate our home or the same way we would operate our business, and that's within our means. And I think some of the progressive ideals out there are just causes for more spending and with money we just don't have.
And so what are you hearing when you're knocking on the door and you say, I'm GOP candidate Mike Smith? What are the issues of importance, because you've been around to all the houses in District 13? What are people telling you down there?
The main thing is just they feel that that the average person, the average taxpayer, has just been left out of the conversation. And a lot of people are just eager for checks and balances to be brought back to our government. You know, Rhode Island was a founding state for the ideal of checks and balances, and we have a lot of support from Democrats, even a lot of support from independents, which are the majority of the voters in Newport and Jamestown, and people are feeling that we need to bring things back to the center.
And so talk with us next week. I think we're chatting a little bit in the green room. It's August. It's a special election.
Yeah.
Do you literally have the votes counted? Do you know how many people are turning out for this?
Well, you know, it seems like every day I knock on a door and they say, our whole family, we're so excited to vote for you in November. And I'm like, no. And so I have to tattoo, I think I've said the word August 22nd more than I've said the word mom or dad, you know. So it's like it's just very it is an odd time of year. It's actually probably I'm realizing it's probably one of the most vacation travel times of the year as well. It's right before the start of the school year, so you know everybody's packing up and going to the beach, or they're heading to Maine, or they're going places, and going into a voting booth is the last thing they're thinking about right now.
And so here we are, it's Friday at the end of a very tumultuous week nationally after the events in Charlottesville. You're looking for a statewide position, but having the GOP attached to you here. You've run as a Republican, you've run as an independent. What were your thoughts as to what transpired this week and what the president said? Again, his most recent statement saying, you know, there were fine people out there in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
What was your response to the president?
Well, you know, I've never known of a fine Nazi. I don't know of fine people in the extremes of whether it's the extremes far left or the extremes far right. And so I absolutely condemn those remarks. I'll go further than certain people within the party. I just don't. It's unfortunate and it's sad. I mean, my family and many other families came to this country escaping extreme political beliefs and extreme beliefs such as these, whether they're far left or far right. And so, absolutely.
And talk with us a little bit. You've made some announcements in recent days of some big endorsements down in Newport.
Yeah.
Talk with us about who you've got.
Pretty excited. The mayor, Harry Winthrop, endorsed my campaign on Wednesday, and that's somewhat unprecedented because generally he doesn't get involved in these types of races. And the statement he made is he just feels that we need people to come back to the center and use common sense to make changes for our state. He also feels that my opponent is not that person, and that she represents the extreme in our state right now, the extreme politics.
Were you surprised to get the endorsement?
I was, because I begged him for a long time. No, I was surprised because and many people were, because they'd never seen him endorse a candidate in the past. And we haven't always agreed on issues, but no two people agree on everything anyways. But we do agree on one thing. We both have a vision for a year-round economy in Newport and Jamestown, and that we've become far too dependent on tourism.
So here we are. It's Friday afternoon. It's going to be a busy tourism weekend down there.
If the rain stops, yeah.
Where are we going to find Mike Smith pounding the flesh this weekend?
I will be I can't give out the secrets, but it's like Kentucky Fried Chicken. But I will be knocking on doors, and I will be working a few days at the transfer station in Jamestown. That's also known as the dump. And that's actually where you meet most of your voters. And I've had a lot of comments that's where politicians belong, is at the dump. So it's actually a really great place to meet voters.
Very good. And again, looking at this Tuesday, any last things you want to share before we let you go back down and beat the traffic back down to Newport?
Well, I'm thankful for the opportunity to run. Again, I'm a small business owner, and I believe in fiscal responsibility. I believe in better education for my kids and yours. And I'm also a big proponent for term limits, so I'm not going there to become a career politician. And I just asked for your vote on Tuesday, August 22nd, and that's August 22nd.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come back up here and give us the update on your campaign. And again, website and info if people want to get more info.
VoteMikeSmith.com, and that's probably the best way. And there's all sorts of ways there to volunteer and to give lots of money. No, I don't need. I'm not asking for money. I'm just volunteer. And there's also, I do have a lot of my issues on there, so you can see a lot of where I stand on a number of issues as well.
Okay, Mike Smith, GOP candidate for Senate District 13.
Thank you.
This Tuesday.
Yep.
Okay. We'll talk soon. Mike Smith, thanks for coming in.
Okay.
GOP candidate Mike Smith down in Senate District 13. This is the special election. This was a seat held by former Senate President Teresa Paiva-Weed, who left this past year for a job at the Hospital Association. It's been vacated. We had Mike in the studio when he first announced. We saw the results of the Democratic primary down there. I think it's a four-way race, but was talking a little bit about differentiation on spending, talking a little bit about where he stood on Trump, and also some other issues, and his recent endorsement by Harry Winthrop down there as well. So I appreciate Mike coming all the way up to Providence. Oftentimes you got to pack a bag.